Greetings, I'm Craig Smyser with 1835 Realty. We're at one of the most historic and iconic places in the great state of Texas. We're going to take a tour of the Alamo on this road trip episode of Discover Austin. So we're going to spend some time here at the Alamo. We really need someone who knows what they're talking about. So we've asked Sherry, who's the Director of Education here and also does some tours, to tell us a bit about the Alamo. So just, I guess briefly, for folks who might not be familiar, the main little history of the Alamo.
Sure, absolutely. More into the 1830s, and the people that are living here as Mexican citizens are not necessarily happy with their government, and they eventually intend to rebel. And that's exactly what's happening in late 1835 and early 1836. It would start with the battle in Gonzales, about 75 miles from here, and then it would move to San Antonio. Here, the Mexican troops numbered somewhere in the area of 600. Those 600 men were basically sent out by the Texans. They were defeated, and the Texans are in charge of the Alamo. The Alamo is an important place, not only because it is a fortress, and there are a lot of cannons here, so it's very well protected. It's also in San Antonio, and quite frankly, San Antonio was the most important place in Texas in those years. It was the crossroads of Texas. So if you're coming from the interior of Mexico or any direction, you're going to come through San Antonio first. So each side wants to control this city. And so the Texans, once they are able to grasp control of the area from the Mexicans, set up operations here inside the Alamo. And of course, General Santa Anna, the president of Mexico, decides he's going to have to put down this growing rebellion once and for all. And he brings about 1,500 men to fight these some 200 men inside this garrison. It begins on February 23rd, 1836, and it would end on March 6th, 1836. So 13 days. They would try to repel the Mexican assaults. Day by day. On the final evening of March the 5th, General Santa Anna, the commander himself, orders a full-scale attack against these walls on the morning of March the 6th. That probably starts around between 4 and 5 a.m. that morning, and it takes them about an hour and a half to kill every single man inside this garrison and take control of the Alamo. So the legacy from all of that is that a very small group of men, determined men, made a stand against a much larger army, in some way knowing that they would not be successful. And so that story started to spread from that very day, March the 6th. The people of Texas started hearing about what these men did here. They knew that the General Santa Anna would be coming for them next. He would be making his way to the east, looking for the rest of the Texans that would stand up against him. And they heard these stories, and at the final battle of the Texas Revolution on April 21st, 1836, General Santa Anna met General Sam Houston and his Texans at the Battle of San Jacinto. On that day, the Texans were successful and defeated the Mexican army, captured Santa Anna himself, and that was the beginning of the Republic of Texas. They had declared their independence, and now they had won their independence. And on that very day, April 21st, 1836, those men on that battlefield remembered the men here in San Antonio with the cries, "Remember the Alamo." And that's what most people know us for today. That very moment in time when other men who are victorious against General Santa Anna and his troops remember the men who laid down their lives. And that's the story of the Alamo, in a nutshell.
The Alamo is quintessential Texas history, and every Texan should visit. I'm Craig Smyser with 1835 Realty.
And I'm Sherry Driscoll with the Alamo.
Thanks for joining us for this road trip episode of Discover Austin. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Discover Austin. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel or go ahead and watch the next video.